Hello, Victoria Black Cat here. I want to welcome you to my channel. And I decided that the first video that I'll do will be a YouTube Witchy tag. So yeah, yes. So the first question is, when did you first know that you were a witch? And I was born into a family of witches, so it was kind of just like I figured that I would find myself on this path sooner or later. So it's not so much that I knew that I was a witch. It's I knew at the right time that I would find myself on this path. And how long have you been practicing? I've been practicing on and off, like steadily on and off, for 18 years, since I was about 10 years old. And it wasn't like I was hardcore practicing when I was 10. I was learning the basics of witchcraft, and one of the biggest things that my mother taught me was raising a cone of power, that sort of thing. She tried to teach me meditation, but I was not ready for it at that age. But yeah, on and off. I have periods where I don't really do much practicing. And then I have periods where I do a lot of practicing and a lot of writing and a lot of learning. Number 3, what kind of witch are you? I would say that I'm a hedge witch. Because I mix witchcraft and shamanism, folklore, lots of home remedies, herbs, that sort of thing. I'm really into herbs. So I would say hedge witch. I work a lot with spirits, the ancestors, that sort of thing. What path do you follow? Again, hedge witch. I do put a shamanic twist on it, because I do have Native American ancestors. So I enjoy drawing from my ancestral heritage just as much, the Native American as the European. Number 5, are you closeted or out in the open? I am out in the open. I am flamboyant with my witchcraft. I don't care. I used to get scared of telling people that I was a witch, but I would say, oh, I'm Wiccan, oh, I'm pagan, but now it's just like, nah, I'm a witch. Hardcore. I'm a witch. What resource was the most valuable at the beginning and now? Okay, so resources. I would say that The Spiral Dance by Starhawk was the most valuable resource when I was first starting out. Was my mother's book. She let me read it. Yeah, that sort of thing. Can't get the angle right. Okay, well, whatever. And now, the internet. The internet is the most valuable resource. I mean, you can find like anything on the internet, any information, and the communities that are available to us, they're numerous and they're fantastic. Are you solitary or in a coven? I am most definitely solitary. Hardcore solitary. All the solitary. I don't play well with others. What's something you wish you had known in the beginning? Tools do not define the witch. You don't need tools to practice the craft. That is a big one. I mean, even now I have to remind myself, it's not about the tools. It's not about all the fancy things. You can get by with just yourself if necessary. But I do understand that tools have their purpose. Tools do serve a purpose. They help amplify. They help get you in the mindset. Like, that makes sense. That makes sense. Is your craft devotional or secular? At this moment, it is secular, in a way. It's not really devotional, and it's not really secular. I don't devote anything to a specific deity. I believe in the Great Spirit. And I believe that deity is just, that the deities are just different manifestations of the Great Spirit. So I guess in a way I'm pantheist, and so I honor everything. I don't devote anything to one specific deity. So I would say kind of somewhere in the middle of secular and devotional. What was your first spell? I honestly don't remember what my first spell was, but I know that pretty early on I did a protection spell because I was badly bullied in elementary school and middle school. So what do you do when you feel out of touch with your craft? I do other things that help me feel connected to my craft. Like, I don't necessarily practice. I'll do art. I'll write. Those are things that are very spiritual to me. So that it helps me connect back to the base of my craft. It helps me to still practice without practicing like spell work or magic, if that makes sense. Have you ever doubted your faith or your ability? Oh yes, many times. That's why at the beginning I said off and on. I've been practicing since I was 10, because there are times when I am most definitely on, and then there are times when I am most definitely off. It's never like, I've never always practiced straight for even a year. I have moments, I have periods where sometimes I feel like there's no point in it. I mean, and that goes back to my mental health. So, and when I'm in that state, there's that part of me that doesn't want to practice, not because I have doubts in it, but because I don't want to bring that negativity into my work. So I just take a step back, and it's like, no, this negativity needs to stop. I will continue on when it is gone. What's your biggest pet peeve? All the cliques within the community, the pagan community, and pagan overarching, label. But all the cliques, like, you aren't, I was just watching, I think it's Mint Fairy, I think. And, she was talking about pastel witchcraft, like being a pastel witch. And it's like, that is really awesome. Not for me. Like, I wouldn't do it, but that is really awesome. Like, I love it. It's cute. It's like the way that they dress. It's adorable. And it reminds me of cosplaying when I was in high school. And it's an interesting concept. And it's no more valid than hedge witchcraft or kitchen witchcraft. It's a valid path for the people that follow it. And it's no one person's place to judge, and that's like, that goes along with the clique. It's judging, and like, it's all good. You do you. You dress the way you want to dress. It doesn't make you any less of a witch. So that's my pet peeve, is the cliquish nature of the community. What are some grounding techniques that work for you? Imagining that roots are growing out of either my feet or the base of my spine. That's a big one. Deep breathing exercises are another one, but mostly the root thing. That seems to work really well for me. Biggest spell disaster. I don't cast very many spells. I only do it when absolutely necessary, and thus far I haven't really had a spell disaster that I can think of. But I don't know. I guess, yeah, no disasters. I've had spells not work, but no disasters. Like, nothing is disastrous. Your view on black magic. You know, there are times when, in my opinion, it's called for. Because, you know, anything that goes against the will of another person is black magic. Anything that messes with the will. So, like, protection spells could be considered black magic. Because you're protecting yourself, or you're protecting someone from harm, even if it's somebody's will to do harm. You're messing with the will. You're making people not harm you. You're, sweetness spells. That's messing with someone's will. That's messing with their mojo, with their energy. Making them sweeter, making them kinder to you. Making them less abrasive. But that's in a very general way. That is in no way very, that's just overarching general. Anything that messes with someone's will is black magic. Could be considered black magic. But, if you're willing to deal with the consequences, you do you, boo-boo. You do you. Like, honestly, it's not my place to judge you for the magic that you do. You do you. If the situation calls for it, do it. You do you. But the biggest one is you gotta be willing to deal with the consequences of your actions. I'm not talking about the Wiccan read. I'm not talking about 3 times 3 times 3. I'm just talking about the consequences of your actions. Every consequence has an equal and opposite reaction. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. There are consequences to everything, good, bad, and ugly. Is witchcraft every day or only special occasions? If I'm on, it's every day. Every day I do something related to my craft. If I'm off, I usually don't even do it on special occasions because I'm off. So, I mean, it really depends on my mental health state, on my physical health state. I just started this on period of witchcraft with a full moon ritual, or a new moon ritual on Friday. And it's like, and I did, I did that. And it was wonderful, and that's why I'm back on, is because I did that that ritual. Do you meditate? Yeah, not as much as I should. I don't even do it every day, which is unfortunate, but being a mother, I find it hard to find time for myself. So this is pretty much my time to myself. But I believe that making art, in a sense, is a form of meditation. So when I make art, I do meditate, and I try and make something artistic every day. So reading is a form of meditation, so I try to read a little bit every day. Do you practice divination? Yes, I do. I use the tarot, and occasionally I'll use a pendulum. So there's that. Moon phases, planetary correspondences, day, hour, are they irrelevant or are they key? I do not believe that they are either. I believe that they are useful for those who use them. I believe that they add extra energy to the working, but I personally don't follow them so particularly. So you do you. If that's your thing, you do it. If it's relevant for you, you do it. If you don't do it, don't do it. Do you. Spell language, simple or flowery? I love me some poetry, but not in my spell work, not in my ritual work. Very straightforward, to the point. This is what I want. I mean, I might use a little bit of flowery language, like, here's an example. May the light of this candle grant me a week of brightness, light, and happiness. That's straightforward, but the way that it's written poetically, gently. It's written easy, and not like it's easy to read, but it's easy on the ears, it's easy on the mind. Do you keep a book of shadows or a grimoire? Yes, I do. I do. I keep a grimoire bullet journal, actually. Ooh, look at me being all modern. Do you have an altar? No, I do not. Not necessarily. My altar is my kitchen table, because that's where I sit. That's where I do my art. That's where I do everything, is at the kitchen table. So if I want to do a spell, I pull my stuff out and I do it at the kitchen table. I do want a dedicated altar space, though. But again, that goes back to the whole thing that I wished I had known when I was first starting out. The tools don't make the witch. The altar doesn't make the witch. Just because you don't have an elaborate altar doesn't mean you're any less of a witch. So, thoughts on the afterlife. I believe in reincarnation. I do believe that there is an afterlife. I believe that we have certain lessons to learn in each lifetime, and if we have not learned all of the lessons that we're meant to learn, then we come back. If there are still more lessons to learn, we come back. If not, we move on. We go to the Summerlands, in essence, in my opinion. Oh, excuse me. Would you teach your kids the craft? Not explicitly. The way I was raised to be curious about everything. So that's kind of how I'm raising my kids. But if they show an interest, I'm not going to deny them. I'm not going to say, no, I'm not going to teach you. If they're like, Mommy, what are you doing? I'll be like, this is what I'm doing. Do you want to help? I'm not going to hide away from them. I'm not going to seclude them from my practice, but I'm also not going to push it on them. Totem animal. Yes, I have. I don't really call them totem animals. Well, I guess I have one totem animal and then multiple spirit animals. Black cat. Black cat is my totem animal and my primary spirit guide. Spirit animal. And he's also the only one that is willing to be exposed, I guess is the way to put it. He is completely fine with me talking about him. In fact, he's a part of my name, Victoria Blackcat. And yes, he is just called Black Cat, and he is literally a black cat. So, very simple, very easy. What are some books that influenced you? Definitely Starhawk's The Spiral Dance. And further on, a lot of Silver Ravenwolf was very influential on my beginnings in the path. Tools. I do have a few tools. I use candles. I use a quartz crystal. I have a drum and I have a rattle. And those are currently my primary tools. My son and I are in the process of making wands. It's just mostly for decoration, in my opinion, for me. I don't use wands. I don't use athames. I don't use bolines. The herb cutting knife, I think is what it is. My magical name, Victoria Black Cat. Meow. I used to have other names, but at this point, I like using Victoria Black Cat because it's my legal first name, and it's in honor of my spirit guide. My favorite season is somewhere between autumn and winter. I love the cold, and I love the colors. Not red and green, but for autumn, the reds, oranges, and browns, and yellows, and for winter, blues, whites, that sort of scheme. Silver, definitely silver. Herb, lavender. It is my go-to herb for everything. Purification, calming, depression, anxiety, you name it. I love lavender. Crystal, I have two, and that's clear quartz and amethyst. So both of them are very much so used in my craft. I don't use the runes, so I don't really have a favorite one, but my favorite tarot card is the Death card and the Moon card. And my favorite symbol, traditional symbol, would be the spiral. I like the symbolism behind it, and it's pretty and it's fun to draw. So it's the spiral. So this is getting pretty long. It's probably going to take forever to get this up, but thank you so much for joining me for this little chat. I do hope that you have a wonderful and magical day. I will talk to you later.